Hello, and welcome to Hanson Career Connect, a space where we celebrate incredible journeys and uncover stories that inspire. Whether you're starting your career, making a pivot, or just looking for a guidance, this is your place to learn, to grow, and to be empowered. Today, we have a very special guest with us, someone whose work has truly shaped narratives and connected communities across Canada. I am thrilled to introduce Yudhvir Jaswal, a name many of you might already know as a CEO and group editor of Y Media Group, Canada's largest South Asian media organization. With over 20 years of experience across all media platforms, TV, radio, print, and online, he's the only South Asian journalist to interview both Prime Ministers Stephen Harper and Justin Trudeau during federal elections. His journey is as inspiring as it is impactful, and we're so excited to learn from him today. Yudhvir, welcome to Hanson Career Connect. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Adeep, thank you so much, and I'd like to thank you in particular, first of all, and obviously I'd like to thank Hanson College. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yudhvir, let's start from the beginning. You have had such an incredible career in the field of media, but every story has some spark. How did you enter into this field? Was it a special situation, a person, or it's your dream since childhood?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it wasn't my dream to be in media. How did it happen? While I was in India, usually they tell us either go for engineering or become a doctor. I won't understand biology too much, so I did my engineering. After doing my engineering, I did work in my field for good 8 years. But during my engineering college, I picked up a habit of reading English newspapers. And it carried on while I was at work, and I would read around 5 to 6 newspapers every day while I was in India. And then when I moved to Canada, so I again started reading newspapers. Still, I didn't decide that I would be, ending up in media. Mm-hmm. I would read approximately 2, 3, sometimes even 4 newspapers every day. And then I really thought, I'm so much interested in reading newspapers, so why don't I pursue a career in media? And that's how I started with the print. It was Midweek newspaper. And then I was very much intrigued and very fascinated by visual media. So I wanted to always venture into TV. So that's how we launched Channel Y. And of course, during print and TV, there was a time that I thought digital properties are very important. So that's how we launched our digital properties. And we also launched our radio show.
Such a powerful story. It's clear how much heart you have poured into your career. And what I love about your story is that you stayed passionate about the field of media. So what was your motivation behind to keeping the spark alive for many years? It's been 20 years for you, or over 20 years for you in the field of media, I believe, right?
Yeah, good. I would say around 24 years now. And yeah, I do get this question quite often that in the last 20 plus or 24 years, how would you still manage? And we're dealing with news on day-to-day basis, and sometimes the news are very challenging. So how do you keep yourself motivated, especially being surrounded with all this news? I think there are quite a few reasons for that. First of all, I've never considered media. It doesn't come across as work to me. Why? Because I love reading newspapers. I love creating content. I love talking to people. And as a host or as an anchor on radio, on TV, or here we are doing a podcast or writing any articles for a newspaper, I love doing my work. So my simple suggestion to anyone who's watching this podcast is, they always say, follow your passion.
Yeah.
So for me, this is not work at all. Like for Virat Kohli, if he's playing cricket, it's not work for him. For Shah Rukh Khan, if he's acting, it's not work for him. So very similarly, I could work for 8 hours, 10 hours, or even 12 hours a day. I love creating content and consuming content as well.
So be friend with your work.
Yeah.
You will be passionate automatically.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to find our own passions, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to tell me I should start playing ice hockey, I'm not passionate. I can watch ice hockey, but I'm not passionate about watching ice hockey.
Yeah.
So I think we should all find our own passions. If someone loves to sing and they think they can really sing well and they can become a singer, yes, go ahead. do it. If you are a music composer and you love composing music, you have very good knowledge about different instruments, go ahead, do
Yeah.
that. And in today's day and age, there is definitely a place. And I think you will excel. If you're really passionate about something, you will not find it as work for yourself. You will excel in that. And I'm sure you will love your work. I've met many people. Like I'll give an example for Yash Chopra. So he always wanted. I mean, he's for those of you who don't know, most of you know him. But Yash Chopra, I mean, he created one of the biggest movie banners in India. So he would always say, as a director of a movie, he would always say this, that I would want to leave this planet while working on a set. And same with me. I mean, if you ask me, I have worked out for good 5,000 years. And even after 5,000 years, I would still love working on radio, on TV, or writing an article, or actually reading a newspaper if print would survive for 5,000 years.
Definitely it will.
Yeah.
And media have changed so much over the years, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the growth of artificial intelligence and social media. You as a CEO of Y Media, and you have had a front row seat and seeing all these changes, right? What is something that you were most surprised about social media evolution in media in Canada or in the world?
Media landscape has always changed. If you back in the day, it was mainly print, and then came, the electronic media. We've had 24 hours television, and then of course radio was there too. So then, as you just mentioned, then came the digital media, the evolution of social media. But one thing would remain consistent, and that is how good of a content creator you are. I mean, 500 years ago or 5,000 years from now, if you're a good content creator, you would always survive. It's just different mediums, whether it's print, whether it's radio, whether it's digital. Just like a good chef. 500 years ago, if someone knows how to cook well, so everyone will love them. And 5,000 years from now, if you're a good chef, you could be serving at home, or you could be serving in restaurant or takeout food. Still, people would appreciate.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And do you think the evolution in the digital media have helped a lot of community members to raise their voices with maybe national or even global media? They're more open now than they were before.
Yeah, they are, but I think it's a double-edged sword. Why I'm saying it's a double-edged sword? For two reasons. First of all, yes, you're right. I mean, everyone has a voice today. There was a time that a few media houses, if you're printing a newspaper, they would have control on that. And then, yes, the journalists did have an independent voice, but still it was mainly confined to professional journalists, a print organization. Then TV or radio, it was more often, I mean, if I would go in for an edition of a radio host, maybe I wouldn't have even qualified. But here I am today doing radio, TV. So now things are opening up with digital media landscape and so many other opportunities. And as you just mentioned, for any common citizen, I mean, I could be an influencer, I could be a content creator, I could go on TikTok, I can be on Insta today and create content. And as you just said, I could raise my voice. But why I'm saying it's a bit of a double-edged sword as well. Because with any organization, like with Y Media, we have a responsibility. If I know this news is 99.99% true, I will not broadcast that.
Yes.
Whether in our print newspaper, can I publish this headline in midweek newspaper? It's 99.99% no. We've been there for 24 years. It has to be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
I have to be fair. I have to, get perspective from both sides of the story. It has to be very accurate, balanced, fair. Then it goes in the print. Or if I'm broadcasting on radio, radio mostly goes live. TV as well. I do a lot of live TV shows as well. So all this goes live. So I have to make sure that the story is accurate, first of all. The story is balanced. I have to get perspective from both sides, and certain times it's multiple sides of the story. So I have to make sure I get all the perspectives. So proper due diligence has to be done. I'm not saying that influencers or anybody who's an individual content creator, they won't do all their due diligence. They would do that.
Yeah.
But I think the responsibility is more on major organizations. And I do agree that certain times there is also a challenge for big media outlets that are they really not being pressurized? Are they really not biased? And are they not really endorsing any particular political parties? We just saw in the recent elections, Washington Post, major backlash because they've been endorsing different political parties or candidates. And this time, when Washington Post didn't endorse a candidate, there was a backlash.
Yeah.
So at Y Media, our policy has been very clear. We do not endorse any political party or we do not endorse any political candidate. So you have to be very fair, very objective in journalism. So that is one thing I'll give it to the legacy media or the conventional media outlets. But again, I must give credit to many influencers, many content creators who've done some amazing work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's about do it with responsibility. And that's the main thing, right?
Of course, do it with responsibility. And but again, as I've said, people consume media only for two reasons. There's no third reason. First is information and second is entertainment.
Yes.
If you're able to inform the audience, if you're able to entertain the audience, obviously then people will follow you.
Yes.
So there is no third reason for anybody to consume media. So, but do it with some responsibility as well. Yeah.
Yes. Very well said.
Yeah, thank you.
And Yudhvir, you have seen the rise of digital media because you've been there, right?
Yeah.
And you have seen its impact on journalism. So with so much information out there, it's really hard to stand out, I think. What are your top 3 advice you would give to somebody who's just starting this as a profession in either digital world or a media world?
Actually, it depends. I'll start with my own thing. If you want to become a journalist, two things. First of all, read the current news analysis for at least good 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because, say for instance, if you're a writer, so you have to read for good 3-4 hours for your mind to be creative. And if you write for half an hour, you have to read for 3-4 hours. So if you have to be a journalist, I'm a journalist. My main profession is current news analysis. So as a journalist, I would suggest if you want to be a journalist, read for good 3-4 hours, current news and analysis. And if you could spare a couple of hours or even at least minimum 1 hour for history, because that will give you the context. Say, for instance, if I'm covering the different conflicts at a global scale, I should know what happened in World War I, what happened in World War II, if there were any conflicts after that, what happened during the Cold War. So all these things, the dates, it'll give me the context to the current story. And when I'm talking about current news, of course, as a journalist, I'm expected to talk on different issues. So if someone asks me a question on politics, I can't tell you what was the railway budget for Russia in 1962.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't. But yes, what if someone asks me, hey, Yudhvir, we want to know how is Russia and US doing? What are the relations? How is China risen as a global power politically or economically? How strong is India in terms of a military power? So I need to do all these things. So whether it's economy, whether it's politics, and I could be, and when I'm doing live TV or radio, somebody could throw a question at me. When was the last time India won a test series in Australia there? So I would say the last 2 test series that India played there, they won. And this time they won the first test match as well. So whether it's sports, politics, and another thing, for any, journalist or anyone as a content creator, of course, if you're entertaining enough, it's great. But even if you're covering entertainment, we should know our facts. If someone asks me, who directed Irishman, I should know the entire background of Martin Scorsese, how many movies he's directed, how many movies he's worked with Robert De Niro, all these things, how many awards he's won, all these things come handy. So the more you read, the more you know, the better journalist you are.
Wow. That's very practical advice. So staying ahead in media isn't just about technology. It's about the creativity, the knowledge you have, and all the hard work you put in before you come on the stage.
Like you spoke about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I usually take at least half an hour, sometimes in 1 hour to study about artificial intelligence also these days. I was invited at a place recently with students where I had to discuss artificial intelligence. And there was another professor from US. He's a professor at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he gave some amazing lecture on artificial intelligence. So as a journalist, when I entered the stage, there were students there. So I asked them a question. I said, before I talk about artificial intelligence here, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Name a field which is most creative. That this is the field which needs creativity at its best. So I said, of course, you have to be creative as a journalist. You have to be creative as a doctor, as an engineer, as an architect, as an artist.
Yes.
But as a filmmaker, how about as a filmmaker? That is a person where creativity should be at its best. Why? Because if you are a filmmaker, you have to have the best of actors. So for creativity, you have to have best of the costume designers, casting directors, music composers, singers. All these people should have creativity at its best. Then only you can really create or really make a brilliant creative film. So when I'm talking about artificial intelligence, it has its own limitations. The creativity fed in artificial intelligence, it would come out, or maybe certain permutations and combinations. But the natural creativity, if you rely on that, rely on your natural instincts, I don't think so. Artificial intelligence. Yeah, I just read an article this week on Globe and Mail. Artificial intelligence is coming for journalists, but it won't affect us that much.
Yeah.
If at all we are really original, genuine, creative, if we have that knowledge and that skill set.
Yeah, so it's about, you cannot just rely on artificial intelligence, but you need to be there using artificial intelligence to get ahead of the game, right?
To your advantage,
Yeah.
use it to work,
Yes.
whether it's technology, artificial intelligence, use it for your own advantage.
Yes.
And today, okay, now since you're again touching this topic, recently a radio station in Europe, what they did is they took away all the hosts and they brought in all artificial intelligence hosts. So there wasn't any actual host on the radio. Their listenership was next to none, but it then moved up to around 8,000 listeners. It did rise.
Yeah.
What they did is they also did an interview from an artificial intelligence, a host created by artificial intelligence, AI, and a Nobel laureate, Nobel Prize winner who had already passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no more. So they just used their voice of a Nobel laureate who didn't exist. Yeah, you could do now. I mean, you could interview Mahatma Gandhi today without.
Yeah.
I mean, I can create a host with an artificial intelligence, and here I can interview Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
They both can interact, and I can broadcast it on air. This is the beauty of artificial intelligence,
Yes.
right? So, but there was a lot of backlash for that, and I won't go into details in the interest of time. But and I'm a very strong supporter of human connection. The reason is, artificial intelligence can bring intelligence, but again, it's artificial. Second thing is the human connection. If I am talking to someone just on radio, people are connected to me, Yudhvir Jaswal from Y Media. Today I got a call. This guy was in US. This guy is a truck driver. He said, I've been away from home for a good 10 days. I'm in Arizona right now. And if I get my load today, I'll be back for another 4 days. And he says, you know, as much as it's very challenging, I'll be coming back home after 14 days after driving truck, and I'm in Arizona. And that too if I get the load.
Yeah.
But Yudhvir, here I am. So he needs a human touch. That's what he's looking for. Imagine if I tell him, here's a robot, here's an artificial intelligence, a host created by artificial intelligence. Keep talking. It will smile. It will reply to your emotions. No. And this is something I'm talking on radio. Imagine how much power we as humans have.
Yeah.
Anything else can be created when we are on TV, when we are live on TV. I love live radio, love TV, because that's the human touch. You can connect with someone.
Yes.
And that is an art, how well you connect with someone, not from an intellectual perspective. Of course, you can people get stimulated. If someone is connected with you at an intellectual level, great. I love this person's knowledge, great. But if people connect to you from heart, from the bottom of their heart, great. But imagine if you can connect people at a soul level.
Yeah.
If we can tap our energies, can an AI robot connect at a soul level? It's challenging.
Yes. And I'm sure you have already addressed this, but when you were starting in this field, you were very new. What was something you wish someone had told you and which you would like to pass to the new generation out there?
If I knew more how to do business, that is the only thing. If someone is launching their own career, because I didn't join media as a journalist. I joined as a journalist, as well as I launched my own business. I started Midweek newspaper. I was very good at being a journalist, but then I had an advantage because my wife Preet, she's an amazing strategist. So she would always guide me, suggest me in my media career. But that is one thing that was missing. I was never a business person. But if you're running your own business, which I've been doing for a good 24 years, one of the reasons that I got successful, it's because of course, with the blessing of God, with the community, but my wife, a brilliant strategist. And that is one thing I would tell you, do a lot of homework before you do anything, because it looks really good on papers. But when you are going out there, venturing as a journalist or as a small business person in media or in any other field, your homework has to be very good. And I was quite lucky. Actually, I should say I was blessed. One of my colleagues, Gurpreet, he's sitting with me right here. I was able to attract these great souls, which really took this business also to a very different level. But I think I would say do a lot of homework, research, and of course, plan your finances very well. That's very important. And whichever way, if you're able to attract great talent, that's the key.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to use it for sure from my side as well.
Sure.
Now, I do have to ask you this about your interviews with both Prime Ministers of Canada, Stephen Harper and Justin Trudeau. Can you take us backstage a little bit? What was going through your mind when you were talking to them, and what was something you took out and you felt like, yeah, this is something really crucial and really important for me as a person?
Yeah, as you just mentioned, I did interview. This was 2015 elections. The Prime Minister at that time was Stephen Harper. He was the Prime Minister of Canada for a good 10 years by the time. And 2015 federal elections in Canada, our current Prime Minister right now, Justin Trudeau, he was the Liberal Party leader at that time. So yes, I did interview both of them at that time. First things first, never get intimidated. Always be very objective. And you know how I tell myself, I tell myself, they should be more nervous than I should be, and and be very objective, ask them any questions. Being in media, I've had the luxury of meeting, interviewing many people. If I count with the people that I've met and interviewed, approximately 5 prime ministers, from Paul Martin to Justin Trudeau, to Stephen Harper, to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. I've interviewed any Bollywood celebrity that you can name, from Shah Rukh Khan to Salman Khan, and the Punjabi movie industry, from Diljit Dosanjh, from singers, Sonu Nigam, you can name anybody.
So
from
the list is long.
From cricketers to politicians. So God has been very kind that way. And every interview that I did, whether it was with the Prime Minister or a Premier or a Cabinet Minister or a Bollywood star or a Hollywood star, it has its own advantages. And I would sum up on this note, I try to learn a lot from anyone that I interview. There's lots to learn, because all these people, whether they've made it to become a prime minister or a director or a singer or a cricketer or a movie star, so they have many reasons, not just one, why they've made it this far. And I try to learn from everyone.
During those interviews, because as you mentioned, you interviewed not only a few people, but many influential people around the world. During those interviews with them, did you feel that, media have a really powerful role in bridging the gap between the common people and celebrities, even it's politicians or movie stars or any VIPs?
Yeah, of course we do. First of all, as a journalist, we do have the power to hold anyone who is sitting in elected office, hold them accountable. That's our primary job as well. Because as you mentioned about any, any citizen or any common person, what they want. They want to hold these people accountable for better lives, to do their jobs better. So that's the power that we have, and that's our primary job as well. Secondly, when I'm interviewing a celebrity as a movie star or as a cricketer or any other celebrity, and you said bridging the gap, there my job is a little bit different. I'm not holding them accountable. They're doing their part. My job is to bring the person behind. Say, for instance, I'm interviewing a movie star. So my job is, yes, of course, I'll talk about their professional success, but I also want to know the person behind a movie star or a celebrity when the cameras are off, when the lights are off. So who is this person? What makes you happy about their family connections? So what does success mean to them? So that way what happens is, at the end of the day, three things usually I try to bring on the table. First is that anybody who's watching the interview, they can always feel inspired by their success. They can always feel that, yes, even we can do that. And they also realize that at the end of the day, these big mega stars, cricketers or any movie stars, they have their own individual challenges just as anybody has.
Yeah, thank you. And you are someone who have worked very close with the community. You know the challenges and you know the strength as well. What do you think media today can do even more to support the community around the world or even within Canada?
Oh, a million things for sure. Because there are so many challenges on this planet. So imagine if I was not in media and I wanted to fight with hunger. You know, a person, here's a person and you tell him the biggest challenge right now is climate change. Of course, it is a massive challenge, but fine. The second thing I could tell this person, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of corruption. But this person would tell me, there are millions of this planet, including himself or herself. They're hungry right now. They need food right now. There are millions of people on this planet in different countries who need food right now as we speak. And I'm just giving you one example. In media, we can do a million things. We can bring awareness about all these challenges that we are facing, not only, as humans, but all the different species. There are approximately 18 million species on this planet. So they're all facing different challenges. I think I am one of the species out of the millions of species on this planet. And in media, I think I should be feeling even more responsible to bring awareness about different challenges that we have and support. Sometimes I don't even need to reinvent the wheel. There's so many different organizations who are already working. There are people who are working for environment, planting trees. There are people who are working to educate others. There are many organizations who are helping to feed those who are hungry. So I think it's in media, I'm at a position of advantage that I can bring them on board on why media's different platforms and print, radio, digital, and TV, and bring more awareness. Connect people. I can give you a very quick example in the interest of time. During COVID, just when the COVID started, we saw there were viral videos. What was happening? People were fighting and there was a shouting match for getting the grocery cards. So that weekend we thought, what should we do now? Because there was a lot of uncertainty. People thought there'll be no food left on the shelves. COVID had just struck. So I'm talking about March, April 2020. So we thought, okay, that weekend, I coined 3 words, first of all. There's a lot of negativity. No, no, no. So the first word was yes. And then I said, we're all together. So why should be you versus me? We're fighting for grocery cards. Not even grocery, we're for grocery cards. So I said, okay, it's yes, positive. Second word we coined we. And then we said, yes, we support. Let's support each other. So next day I said 2 things. On our radio, on our TV. So we said from Y Media, we're launching an initiative. Yes, we support. And what do we do? We invited all the volunteers. So anyone who wants to volunteer with us, please register your name. Whether you're in Toronto, whether you're in London, whether you're in Calgary, register with us. Number 1, give your phone number. And what do you register for? Second, we started announcing anybody who needs food or even cooked meals, we will deliver at your doorstep. This is our hotline number, Y Media's number, and just call us on Y Media. No questions asked. We will deliver food at your doorstep for 2 people, 5, 10, as many as you want. What happened after about 3-4 months? We had more volunteers helping us bringing on food.
Yes.
And there were and the calls just dried down. Initially, we had a good volume of calls, and every volunteer that would call, I would call someone and I'm in Kleinburg right now, but you know what? I'm sorry, I have another in Hamilton. This call was Hamilton. No, sir. Oh, why media's editor is calling me. I love your TV show. This, that. I'm with my wife. We're heading towards Hamilton. You let us know. I said, no, you're living in Kleinburg. I have my volunteers. No. We would love to do that.
Yeah.
So we had more volunteers. So media can do a lot. There are a million things. And, we all are going to leave this planet one day or the other. So we might as well do something.
Yeah, no, that's very incredible. The work you have put during that time, it's actually pretty good. And
Right.
you see the results as well. You see the happy faces. You see the thankfulness in the people's hearts as well. I think that's very good. And I also must say, at Hanson, our mission statement is to change life trajectories through education. And I also feel the same for other industries as well, like media. Your role is also changing a lot of lives as well around the world, whether it's through the news or through the work you're putting in there, or getting the truth out of the hidden corners and bring it out in the public. So that's very incredible work you have done so
Thank you.
far. Yeah.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, I must honestly admit, I didn't aim to do this when I started. I was very passionate about news,
Yeah.
reading news, and I thought, okay, this can work as a career for me. And I was very ambitious, not really knowing that I would do something in media, but I was very ambitious when I entered media, not anymore, but at that time, I wanted to be very famous. I would tell my wife, I want to be very famous, not anymore. So, yes, I must confess, I was very ambitious. I was after fame, and I wanted to grow. Not that I don't want to grow my business anymore. I wanted to grow business. Okay, it should spread all across the globe. Those were my objectives. Of course, I wanted to do some good things as well.
Yeah.
But while I kept on doing this, aspiring to do more and more, and you just mentioned the word trajectory. The trajectory was good.
Yeah.
And for, I would say, good 15, 16 years, this was what I was doing. And yes, I got a reasonable success being ambitious and really following my career path and my business goals at that time. But then in 2016, I started watching Buddhaji. It came on a TV channel. I was at my TV studios, and every evening I started watching. Actually, I started watching Ashoka ji.
Okay.
Ashoka, for those who don't know, is a great Indian emperor. So I was learning about history, and then came Buddha ji. So when I started watching Buddha ji, so Buddhism, what are the teachings, principle, it came in as a TV serial, half an hour of episode every day. And when I started watching Buddha ji, I said, whatever Sikhism teaches us or our Vedas teach us. So, and this is not about any religion. I'm talking about spirituality here.
Yes.
So then I asked myself, what do I need? And I asked my wife, I said, what do you need in life? So she says, I want you to live your life. That's all I need. So then I think my thought process changed. Then I still work very hard, but the desire, there are no more desires now. I think any desire to be famous or grow the business or anything like that, all those desires just went away. And it has been almost good 9 years now. So I would say in these 9 years, no desire at all. At this age, I have no regrets, no desire in my life. The only thing that I believe is I should keep on working hard. And the great souls that I've been surrounded at Y Media, if I can help them evolve intellectually in their careers, as an individual, spiritually, if I can help them evolve and if I could keep on working on myself, evolving myself as a person. So I think my thought process has really changed. The business trajectory is still going great. Actually, it's even better now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you talked about connections, right? You talked about you connected with a lot of people during COVID time, and even now with your great work, with your wisdom, you're actually helping others to achieve maybe the same milestones as well. Talking about somebody who's starting new, right? But they're very shy of reaching out to somebody for mentorship and guidance. What would you recommend to them? Because there's so many people who have done it, who have seen it, who know what's wrong, what's right, what will work, what will not work. But we're so afraid to even ask them for their help, right? So what advice would you give to someone who's looking for that mentorship but doesn't have that courage to go ahead?
Yeah, first thing, never be shy of asking anything. A question might sound as much silly to you. Don't worry, ask it, definitely. And have an attitude of learning. I always tell my wife, Rija, I said, if a book is published or a Netflix series is made on my name, so my name would be, as much as I love my name, Yudhvir. So Yudhvir Singh is a good name, but
Do you want to share the meaning of your name, maybe, to everyone?
Yeah, Yudhvir means war winner.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I also want to share a name for me that is, I love another name. So I take myself as Eklavya. Why Eklavya? Because Eklavya, we know in the history books that Eklavya created a guru by name Dronacharya, and then, he would always follow. He never met his guru Dronacharya. Eventually, Dronacharya met him later on, but then he would learn a lot by just creating an idol of Dronacharya. I have more than 100 plus Dronacharyas, more than 100 plus mentors, coaches.
Yeah.
Most of my gurus, my mentors don't even know me. I learn from them. So my only suggestion would be learn as much and learn from different mentors in different fields.
Yeah.
So that will enrich you. Never feel shy to ask anything from anybody. And finally, the most important thing that is important for me in life, other than learning, is gratitude. Because what is the success to happiness? What is the pathway to happiness? I would suggest this is a very subjective thing. Everybody should find what will bring happiness to your life. So find out that. But one way, if you really want to lose happiness, just don't feel gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as we live in gratitude, we practice gratitude, I think we'll always be very happy. So from any mentors, two things: learn as much as you can and feel gratitude.
It's all about, we human have tendency. If somebody asks us, we will definitely help.
Yeah.
It's all started by asking.
Yeah.
Like we asked you, and you were very helpful to come on this platform and share the wisdom with all of our audience. Thank you so much. Today's interview is one of the special one, I must say. A lot of teachings, a lot of learnings, but we got to know the person behind the name Yudhvir, who's the CEO of iMedia. So thank you so much.
Hardeep ji, I'd like to thank you once again. And I'd like to thank your entire team here. What an amazing team you have. Beautiful studio. And I'd also like to thank Hanson College. I just met your CEO.
Yes.
Amazing, school, amazing college. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm highly thankful and grateful. Thank you.
We can ask a lot more questions, but I feel like just to respect the time. But maybe I think now we have started the conversations. There will be many other opportunities to connect and get to these interactions.
Sure, I just invited your CEO to come to our Y Media studios.
Definitely.
And Hardeep ji, I'd love to invite you also and your team anytime. Please feel free to come at Y Media studios. Any students, they would want to, learn more about media, they're more than welcome to come to Y Media. You can check out our website as well, y.media. Usually we use .com, but this is y.media. You can come over there. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. To our listeners, whether you're dreaming of becoming a journalist, starting a new venture, or just finding your way, take Yudhvir's story as proof that passion and perseverance can take you anywhere. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe to Hanson Career Connect on YouTube and share this with someone who needs a spark of inspiration. And don't forget to connect with us on social media. Let us know your favorite moment from today's discussion. Whether you're starting a new program or you're doubtful about getting into a new industry, Hanson College is here to guide you at every step of your journey. Visit our website and explore a variety of programs we're offering and connect with our admissions team today. Remember, your story matters. You have the power to make an impact one step at a time. Stay curious, stay bold, and we will see you next time at Hanson Career Connect. Bye for now. Oh, I need a coffee now.